Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday. It's a new day. It's a thoughtful Thursday. A lot of what we're saying requires you to think, and it requires you to think about you. And so I'm excited to dive in again today to more of this framework of helping helping you and myself alike be clear about what we want in life, make a decision headed in that direction, and having the determination to just simply keep going. Right. So, hey, it's today. I want to pick up pretty much where we left off on yesterday and continue to build up on the thought of yesterday. We made a case for the fact that it's time to stop being okay with not knowing what you want. And it's time to definitely stop being okay with being present for everyone else and never being present for and with yourself. It's time, right? It is time to get reacquainted with yourself. Reacquaint yourself with yourself. Yesterday was getting to know you, as the stats and the studies show that majority of people do not have any clear indication or idea of what they want and desire in life. And so it's not because many don't want to know, it's mainly because they don't know how to know. They don't know how to decide. And so we're helping answer the question, how do you decide exactly what it is that you want and that you desire? And so how starts with getting to know yourself, reacquaint yourself with yourself. And can I say that I believe that this framework is not just for adults? I really believe that this framework, as parents, we should be transferring to our children, because most times we grow up and we subconsciously uh, grow up knowing how to get to know everyone else, and there's not a lot of language nor context to how to get to know yourself. And before you can ever adequately have uh, any type of healthy relationship with anyone else, you first have to have a healthy and good, solid relationship with yourself. You got to know you. And I think that a lot of times in the context of relationship, there are many people who expect someone else, Dr. Redmond, to know them better than they know themselves. And then, there are people who get upset because a certain person or people don't know them the way they think they should know them, right? But at the end of the day, we've got to reacquaint ourselves with ourselves. And this particular moment in time, what may I suggest that you work on your relationship with you, and that it takes time. I suggest that you schedule regular, if not daily, meetings with yourself, right? On teams, you have morning meetings, you have team meetings, you have staff meetings, but beyond those team and those staff meetings and those volunteer meetings, right? Those planning meetings, I believe that we should schedule some meetings with ourselves. And if it's nothing but 10 minutes a day, you figure out time. But the length of time is not so much as important as the fact that we actually carve out and schedule the time to meet with yourself. Just you, yourself, and you alone. Why? Because this helps to strengthen your self knowledge and your self awareness. It's better to know who you are for yourself than for somebody else to come along and try to tell you who you are. It's better for you to have the definition of you than someone else come along and attempt to define you. And so it's true that if you don't know what you want, you'll end up working for someone who does. If you don't know where you're headed, you'll end up going along with someone else on their journey, and they'll have fulfillment and you won't. You'll just be a tag along. And I believe that there are people who are coming across this conversation, Tuffy, who are saying to themselves, I matter, and I can no longer just live, just go through life not living it, because the point of life is to live. The point of life is to live it. It's not to wish, it's not to want, it's not to waste, but it is to work towards that foreseeable future, tapping into your prophetic vision, Trelena Byers, tapping into what you see beyond today, to do less in order to be more. So reacquaint yourself with yourself. Schedule time with yourself. Talk to yourself. Now, again, I say it every day, but because it's true. Growing up, I heard people say you crazy if you talk to yourself. And then they said, well, it's not crazy to talk to yourself, but if you answer yourself, that's crazy. Well, I'm debunking that whole train of thought, because I'm the guy telling you, you do need to talk to yourself. Self-talk is the best talk. You have to ask yourself the right questions, and then don't just ask the questions, but answer the question, because a question that is not answered just remains a question. And I love the fact, when I look at the word question, the first thing I see is the word quest. And there is a quest, there is a journey that you are on, and the only way to get headed in that direction is you have to be willing to ask yourself and answer yourself the questions. One of the biggest questions that I'm asking myself constantly is, why am I this way? What, like, I am a very meticulous person, and I'm not asking myself to necessarily undo anything. But if I come across something that does need to be undone, then I've got to do the work to undo that, or vice versa. If I come across something that needs to be done, that needs to start, right? Whether it's something that I need to start, or something that I need to stop, something that I'm doing or that I'm not doing, I'm always asking myself, why am I like this? Right? Because I want to be able to answer and be self-aware, so that nobody else has to come along and give some false context to who I am, because they're trying to define me look on the outside looking in, right? But I am me, so I know me. Can't nobody tell me about me better than I can tell you about me, right? And so schedule some meetings with yourself, schedule some time with yourself, reacquaint yourself with yourself for the objective of strengthening your self-knowledge and self-awareness. Where do you start? You start with here. You start with raising the bar. You start with raising the bar. As you're getting to know yourself, your standards are going to have to raise. Your standards are going to have to come up, because if we keep the same thought processes and patterns that we've always had, then we continue to produce what we've always done. But when you're seeking to become more, it requires that you yourself raise your own standards. And here it is, biggest day. Start treating yourself better. All right? Start treating yourself better. Man, I mean, because at the end of the day, if we're expecting someone else to treat us right, and then you're not even treating yourself right, then you're backwards. And no matter what someone else does, it's never really going to amount to much, because at the end of the day, it's how you treat yourself that shows people how they should treat you. And so if you don't treat your own self with respect, then no one else is going to respect. If you don't respect yourself, then you can't expect someone else to respect you, because what you show has shown them how to handle and treat you. How you treat yourself translates into how other people feel comfortable with treating you. So if you're always talking bad about yourself, if you're always talking down on yourself, if you're always belittling yourself, if you're always making what you do small instead of making it big, right? Making much of it. If you're always dumbing down yourself, if you are always saying what you cannot do, then chances are the people around you are taking their prompts from what you say and believe about yourself, and they are just repeating or reiterating what they heard from or saw from you. So here's the challenge. The challenge is start treating yourself better, and stop. Don't do yourself like that. But why would you continue to treat yourself less than you treat other people? And and those of us who have spent so much time being present for other people, being there for them, and not being there for you, effective immediately, I suggest that while you are being so active for them, that you intentionally start being actively present for you too. You got to treat yourself better. Well, somebody said, well, how? What do you mean? How do I treat myself better? Because most times you don't really think about how you treat yourself until someone like me comes along and tells you to start treating yourself better. Or you've been thinking it, but you just haven't sat down to do the framework. You got the what, but now you need the how. You have the desire, but now you need the discipline and the determination. Well, I'm glad you're here. What it requires is going to require that your standards be raised. It's going to require that you raise the standard. Good morning, Mama. Raise the standard. Good morning, Myron Hardy. Raise the standard. You have to identify, first of all, any and all areas in your life in which you need to step your game up. Because remember this, here's the entire premise. The work that you do, the person who you are and the person who you are becoming, it is true that you are someone's answer. But before you can be an answer for someone else, you have to first answer to yourself. You got to know the who before you can determine the what. You cannot put the what in front of the who. Knowing who you are helps determine what you want. And when you know who you are, it helps bring language to, and it even helps eliminate some of the carbon copies and this sameness syndrome that I see now, that everybody, like, people are just the same. It look the same, you sound the same, you do the same things and just call it something different, and there is no originality in that. You are God's idea. There has never been a you. There will never be another you. There's only one you. You are God's unique expression of something that he desires to do in this present generation. And if you don't tap into your full potential, then the reason you are alive is never fulfilled, because you just spent it doing what everybody else told you to do, doing what you thought you should do, instead of taking time and stopping and saying, God, you told me that I am fearfully and that I am wonderfully made. And so at this point, my standard has to be raised. It has to be raised above pleasing people. The standard has to be raised above desiring to please people. And now, more than pleasing people, we want to fulfill the purpose that God has put inside of us. And so raising the standard requires that we identify the areas in our lives in which we need to up the game. If you don't do it, it will not be done. All right. And then you also have to look at ways where you can start taking better care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, then you won't be good to take care of anybody else. If you do not help yourself, you limit how much you can help someone else. It makes me think about the instructions the flight attendant gives when on flight before the flight starts, and they tell you in case of an emergency, if we begin to lose cabin pressure, right, that there's some oxygen masks that are going to drop, and they make this clear instruction: if you are traveling with adolescents, if you're traveling with children, right, they say put your mask on first before you help them put theirs on. Why? Because the only way you are going to be able to help them is if you first help yourself by making sure you stay conscious, by making sure that you have positioned yourself to be able to help somebody else. You cannot want to help everybody else and never desire to help yourself. Huh? I increase that. Yes, sir, Myra. I'm increase and overflow, right? Because if you don't put yours on first and you pass out trying to help them put theirs on, now both of you gone because you didn't make sure that you were able and had the capacity to help them. So you it's identifying those areas where you can start taking better care of yourself. Some of those areas? One of those areas will be your appearance, your presence. You dress. There's an old saying that say you dress how you want to be addressed, right? Your appearance and your presence, your health. It's true that health is wealth. If you're not healthy, if you're not physically healthy, if you're not mentally healthy, if you're not spiritually healthy, then you're no good to yourself and no one else, right? Our physical environments is another area that we have to look. What's your standard for your home life? What's your standard for work life? What's your standard for your social life? Because environments matter, because they're either encouraging you and inspiring you, or they're discouraging you. Environments, they matter. Relationships. Oh, this is a big one. Relationships matter. What's your standard for relationship? Because if a person mistreats you, you're choosing mistreatment. If a person is mistreating you in the context of any relationship, then if you hang around, you're not a victim, you're a volunteer. And sometimes, we're sitting at tables with people who we know are not serving our greater purpose, but we just sit at tables with them in the name of having company. But sometimes it's the company we keep that is keeping us from creating the version of ourselves that we say we really desire to be, because who's around you is either your circle or your cage. They're either they're caging you in, or they're inspiring you to create who you will become and be the best you who you are now on the road to who you are becoming, right? So it's all of this. Why does this matter? It matters because as it relates to your presence, I always say, this is what I teach when I'm teaching entrepreneurs and when I'm teaching creatives, when I'm teaching small business owners. I'm telling them this: people buy into your presence before they buy your product, and you are your main product, right? If you sell an orange juice is not your main product. You are the main product, right? Because people buy into your presence before they buy your product. And so you got to look the part. I have a very good friend who has a business, and he does great work in charting up and getting well acclimated into the industry that he's in, right? And so he's got the talk right. But I caught something that was posted, and I called him and I said, hey man, your image has to line up with your industry. Like, what's the chances of you going and buying a Mercedes and the salesman is in pajamas? Like what? Like. But what's the likelihood of you even going to the dealership and seeing a salesman in pajamas? Like, the chances are slim to none. Why? Because they understand what you're coming in to purchase something, and you don't. If you're purchasing a high end vehicle, you could even be purchasing a low end vehicle, but you don't want to make a major purchase from someone whose presence does not match the product you're there to purchase. You're likely to go somewhere else where the presence is right. And so when it comes to raising our standards, one of the things that I want us to realize this is that your value determines the price of your presence. And sometimes the reason why people call you so much is because your presence is so cheap. But you're not, but it's cheap because you haven't increased your own value, right? So your value determines the price of your presence. And by price, I don't just mean financial price, but I'm literally giving insight to the fact that it costs for you to be who you are. It costs time, it costs effort, it costs energy, right? For you to be who you are. And then when you're saying I'm increasing, when you're saying I'm evolving, that costs even more, because it's cheap to stay who you are, but it costs to be more. It's cheap. It's cheap to just be who you've always been, but it's going to cost major. There's a major cost associated with creating someone you've never been before. And so your value determines the price of your presence. And may I suggest that you up your price on your presence? May I suggest that you get comfortable with saying no, because what you are being asked into, invited to be a part of, may be way less than your value. And it doesn't mean that you're arrogant. It does not mean that you're conceited. It just means that you are so locked in. You're so locked into who you are, and the thought and the idea of who you can and are becoming, that if it does not align with that greater purpose, then it's not it. No, we ain't running that play. No, we're not running that play, because that play doesn't. No. I'm more valuable than that, right? And so when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, then you do good. And so we're looking at perhaps looking, how do you start treating yourself better? So then we take an assessment of our appearance and our presence, our health, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, financial health, emotional health, psychological health, your health and well-being of you as a person. And you got to be honest with yourself. If there's any area where you're struggling, you got to be honest and get you some help. And right, and helping yourself sometimes translates into you admitting that you need help. That's helping yourself. Admitting that you need it and then seeking the right help is how you help yourself, right? And so looking at ways that you could start taking better care of yourself. Where do you need to step your game up, JL? Man, where do you need where is it in any area of your life that you can say, I'm doing good, but I could be doing better, right? Sometimes yesterday is the enemy of today, and sometimes yesterday's success could become today's failure. Yesterday's miracle could become today's misery. Why? Because sometimes what happened yesterday, we just get so comfortable in that happened, that we don't seek more. And achievement sometimes is detrimental to us aspiring to do more, because there were so many people who did one thing and they just stopped. Now, like, they're just one hit wonders. And please listen to me and let me tell you, you are not a one hit wonder, man. There is so much more to you than meets the eye. And it is your value that determines the price of your presence. I'm saying it again. And you have to know who and where to make your presence known. All right, here's a big one. Nikesha Jackson. You'll know about this, because the Lord just blessed y'all in a tremendous way, and congratulations. Make sure we get the registry so we can send a gift. We celebrate our people, right? But here's a big one. Help me declutter. Now, sometimes the process of moving from one place to another will have you throwing stuff away left and right. And because what happens is, when you start preparing for the move, you start looking at stuff and you start saying, if I keep this, I gotta carry this. If I keep this, I'm gonna have to lift it in order to move it. And there were so many times, you ever seen people move and they just leave a whole house load of stuff behind? You want to know why? Because moving has a way of putting things into perspective. I don't need this. It's yours. It's been there. But the process of moving will have you decluttering. And for many of us on this quest of what you want and knowing who you are, it's going to require that you start packing. And as you pack, you have to determine what's going with you and what's not. And not just what's going with you and what's not, but we've got to also determine who's going with us and who's not. Decluttering is not just places. You also got to do some decluttering with some people, because there were some people who leave you drained, who leave you frustrated, who leave you empty, right? And you got to know when it's time to declutter some friendships, some relationships, some partnerships, some situationships. Decluttering our living and our life, not just your lifestyle, but your life in general. The process of moving, as you're moving from here to there, it requires that you really take an assessment of what you're going to take with you. Because if you take it with you, then that means you're going to have to use energy to lift it. And if you keep it, you're going to have to carry it. And there's someone who needs to make a decision today. Like, is this worth me carrying? Is this worth the amount of energy and effort that is going to be required in order for me to take this with me? Is this something that I want to take with me? Is this something I need to take with me? Declutter that stuff, because you'll end up taking stuff along with you, the old stuff with you, to the new place that really does not serve any purpose, but just takes up space. And so many times you got thoughts in your head that are just taking up space. You have people on your heart that are just taking up space. You have things that are just taking up space. And sometimes the right environment, if it's not there, it's got to be created. Create the environment that is conducive to inspire you, to encourage you. If it's not that, you got to create it. If it's not that, stop going. If you're never encouraged, I tell people about being at tables. I mean, I love to go out to eat. I love to try new restaurants. And thank God I'm married. I got a wife, and I can do. We can do that all the time. But I'm saying to myself, like, I'm good on some of these invitations to go sit around. And then you get at the table, and the only thing that they can think to talk about is talking about somebody else. The only thing they can think to talk about, is talking down on what somebody else is doing. And I'm saying to myself, man, out of all the stuff we can talk about, you mean the only thing you want to talk about is drama? You want to talk about mess? You want no. Like I only want to be at tables like where we're talking about goal setting, right? Where we're talking about financial goals and advice. I want to be at those tables to where we're talking about how we can level up. I want to be at tables where we're encouraging one another. I don't know what you do, but whatever you do, like, come on, how can I help build you up to have the capacity to be a better that, right? I'm not looking to be at tables where there's negative vibes. I'm looking to be at tables where it's only positive vibes. I'm looking to be there. Hey, Marie, I'm looking to be there, right? And so sometimes it requires declutter. It requires some declutter. I'm giving you this, and then I'm gone today. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Bar. It's an acrostic for this. B.A.R. Number one. Believe in yourself and your potential to grow. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Believe. Lisa, believe in yourself. I don't care who don't believe in you. You better believe in yourself. I don't care who doesn't support you. You support yourself. It doesn't matter who doesn't show up. You make sure you show up for you. And newsflash, you don't have to ask for support anymore. They know what you do. And if they wanted to support, they would have already done it. But you got to believe in yourself and your potential to grow. Those affirmations. I have the potential to grow. I believe in myself and I have the potential to grow. I have the potential to become the person who I need to be in order to build what I desire to build, right? Believe in yourself. There's amazing things that happen when you believe in you. I don't care if the whole world is against you. That's fine. There were more people against Jesus than there were for him. If you read into it, right? But the same people that the amazing thing about it is the same people that were against him, he was for them. Believe in yourself and your potential to grow. Raising the bar. Aspire to reach higher. You got to set some ambitious goals. Like we're past last year. Like we're even past last month, right? That you got to aspire to reach higher. You stretch yourself. Capacity is only revealed, DA, in seasons of stretching. You don't know how high you can go until you try to go. And even if you don't reach the highest, you reach a higher. Did you hear me? Even if you don't get to the highest, you still got higher, right? Because the objective is that you aspire to reach higher. Set some ambitious goals, because the objective is not accomplishing or achieving the goal. The objective is becoming the person who has the capacity for more. Aspire to reach higher. B, believe in yourself and your potential to grow. Raise the bar. A, aspire to reach higher. Challenge yourself. Stretch yourself. Capacity, again, is revealed in seasons of stretching. You don't know how much you can handle until you try to handle it. Try. Please. No, we replace try with train. Train yourself. You can do more if you train for more. You can be more if you train to become more. You can do it if you aspire and set the goals. And next to your goals, set your give ups, because the law of sacrifice says the only way that you're going to go up is you're going to have to give up. And sometimes the first thing you need to give up is the fact that you're okay with not knowing what you want, but you know what everybody else wants. Sometimes you need to give up treating yourself wrong. Start treating yourself better. And watch this. And beware and be ready for the people who are going to try to make you feel bad about treating yourself better. Because when you start making decisions for you that do not benefit them, there's going to be some tension. But who cares? Let the chips fall where they may. Start treating yourself better. Do something for you. What have you done for yourself lately? I know what you've done for the spouse. I know what you've done for the children. I know what you've done for your parents. I know what you've done for the ministry. I know what you've done for the people. But my question now is, what have you done for you? I know what you've done for the workplace. I know what you've done for your clients. But what have you done? What have you done for you? How's your relationship with you? Go higher. Go higher with you. Reacquaint yourself with yourself. I gotta go. R, here's a big one. Here's a big one. Refuse to settle for less than you deserve. How do you raise the bar? B, you got to believe in yourself and your potential to grow. A, you have to aspire to reach higher and set goals that will hold you to just that. And then R, you refuse to settle for anything less than you deserve. You got to look at yourself and tell yourself, I deserve better. And because I know I deserve better, I'm not going to settle for anything less than what I deserve. Refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Watch this. And raise your expectations of yourself. The only reason anyone would ever accept less than is because you expect less than. You're accepting what you're expecting. But when you start raising your own expectations of yourself, you'll start refusing to settle for anything less than you deserve. Man, I'm in business, right? And there's sometimes that people come and I can tell them, right, but early on at the beginning of the conversation, but sometimes there are people who come, man, and they want everything for nothing. And there was this one time, like back when I first started offering banners as a product from Epic Concepts, our print and design agency. And this one particular person came wanting a banner, right? And so I quoted my price, and she says, no, Pastor, you're gonna have to come down on that. And this was some years ago, right? First starting out, and I foolishly brought my price down to accommodate her preference. And I learned a very valuable lesson in that moment, because even after I brought my price down, she still didn't purchase it. Can I tell you, refuse to settle for less than you deserve. And so now I quote my price, and my price is my price, and my my standard is this: pay or pass. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, someone said, "Oh man, you charging too much now," and I said, "Oh, thank you," because I remember there was a time when I wasn't charging enough. Thank you. Now I'm not going to bring my price down for you, but thank you. Thank you for letting me know I've aspired to reach higher, and I'm actually doing it. Because what you won't pay for, someone else will. But I refuse to settle for less just because you are less. And if I'm too much, be my guest to go find less. If I'm too much, go find less. Because I cannot settle for less than what I know I deserve. And you raise your expectations up for yourself. This was business, right? Yeah. Pay or pass, right? And your value, I'm here again, I'm gone. But your value determines the price of your presence. Don't be cheap on you. Don't be cheap about you. And this is not just financial, right? But the reason why some of us in entrepreneurship are charging way less than we deserve is because you haven't raised the bar. You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe, you got to believe. You'll raise your prices when you believe that that you can have the clientele who will pay that price. You'll do it when you're okay with losing anyone that will not pay it. Man, I wish my barber was on today. He'll probably come across this later. If not, I'll see him later. But my barber is my barber. Been my barber for over 10 years or better now. And when what I pay now is nowhere near what I was paying back, when I first started with him. But I pay it because he's my barber. I pay it because his skill set and his craft is his value, right? His value is what has enabled him to increase the price. And has he lost some people as he increased? I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure now he can have less clientele and have more and still have more profit. Because at the end of the day, when you believe in yourself and you aspire to reach higher and you refuse to settle for anything less than you deserve, and you know that your value determines the price of your presence, and you raise your expectations for yourself, I'm worth it. That's it. That's your affirmation today. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. So I will not settle for anything less than I deserve. All right. Reacquaint yourself with yourself. Set some meetings with yourself for yourself every day. It doesn't matter the amount of time. It could be my number is 10. I'm making sure that at least 10 minutes and that's a really, 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 really small fraction compared to all of the minutes in a day, right? But I'm guaranteeing that at least, yeah, have you ever thought about how out of all the minutes and hours there are in a day, how we make excuses for what we don't have time for? No more excuses. Make some time for you. Set some meetings with yourself. Have an agenda for yourself so that you can strengthen your self-knowledge and your self-awareness and start treating yourself better. Stand on it, right? And identify those areas where you can up your game and raise the bar. Believe in yourself and your potential to grow. Aspire to reach higher through setting ambitious goals and refuse to settle for anything less than you deserve as you raise your expectations for yourself. All right, that's it. I'm done today. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. Mama, you've been here the whole time. Andrea Deckard, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on. DA, she says, I struggle with putting a price on things because of fear of not being supported. Yeah, and so there's a solution to that. We can talk about that. Yeah, there is a solution to that. Yeah, because sometimes that struggle is because we think we think what we offer is for who we know. Because when you already know who you know, you're knowing like, no, they cheat, right? But what you offer is not primarily for who you know. It's for who you don't know. And it's not even for who you are. It has to be set for who you are becoming, right? Because as you become more, you require more. And so a part of what I'm doing here every day, right? And I really got to go. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you're going to hang around for it, I'll give it to you. A part of what I'm doing here every day, man, I made a decision, right? That's what I'm teaching. Make a decision and head in that direction, right? And so part of what I'm doing every day is I'm leveraging social media. Social media is free. I don't have to pay to come on here. I've been on here 43 minutes and 35 seconds, and I'm not paying for 1 minute of it, right? But I'm leveraging social media because it's a practically free platform for mass communications. Right now, I'm live on Facebook as well as YouTube. By the way, go subscribe to us on YouTube at Todrick Miller TV, right? And can I tell you, like, this is one of the first times I've been really comfortable with just saying my name like that. I'm aspiring to go higher, but I'm leveraging this thing, and because there's zero cost for reproduction. So once this live is ended, Those of you who are on, you got it, but other people are going to come across it and they're going to get it, right? And so it stays there. So it reproduces itself, right? But I'm scaling my personality to the world. I'm sharing my thoughts, my ideas, some of my skills, my beliefs. I'm doing all of this, and over time, it's gonna compound. There's gonna be compound interest on it. And as I become more, I it's gonna require more, right? And so what when you start talking about not setting that price for fear, it's like you got to do it afraid though. You just got to do it afraid, because for everyone who will not, there is someone who will, and the person who will is going to end up being your client, who's going to then recommend you to other people. So yeah, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm getting out of that. I might need a one-on-one. Oh, Mary, I got you. Let's set it up. Let's set it up. I want to see it. I want to see it happen. All right. Definitely. Right. So, yeah, thank y'all for being on today. I'm off of here. There's more today, but you tell yourself today, I'm worth it. Tell yourself today, I'm worth it. I am worth it. I'm worth the price. And if they're not willing to pay the price, pay a pass. And that's not just in business, that's in life. Because your value determines the price of your presence. And if a person is not willing to pay the price that is conducive to your value, if they don't see your value, then they won't pay your price. But the people who see your value, I have this one client who always pays more than I charge. I don't care what it is, like clockwork. Every time they always pay more. You want to know why they pay more? Because they see my value. They're not just looking at the price, they're looking at my value. There's some people who reach out to me to do stuff that I nowhere never said I could do, but they believe I can. You want to know why? Because they're not looking at my price, they're looking at the value. It's valuable to have a you. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's valuable to have a you. So yeah. So tell yourself today, I'm worth it. Reacquaint yourself with yourself, and let's tap into your full potential. Embrace it so we can unlock what's next for you. Hey, let me tell you something else you can do. You can make sure that you hit that bell so that you can receive the notifications when we go live. We're going live at 10 o'clock every day for the rest of this month, particularly Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, we're typically probably going to flashback from some content previously recorded. That's just because I know my schedule, right? And so I'm finding a way to be present that serves both me and the audience. And then on Sundays, we're always live at 10 a.m. On my personal page, and then on our church page at Epic Life Dallas, as well as YouTube, Epic Life Dallas, Epic Life Live, and Todrick Miller TV, right? So every day, 7 days out of the week, we're coming on to help you, and myself included, tap into our full potential in order to unlock what's next. May I suggest you start treating yourself better and start today. All right. Love you. Go have a great day and have it on purpose.